my name is Piali.
And my name is Shia.
And today we're gonna be showing you a new way to solve quadratic equations.
We're both 7th graders that go to Keeling Middle School in Austin, Texas.
So there are several ways of solving a quadratic equation using standard form. The standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So one method is factoring, but sometimes it's not easy to factor. Second is completing the square, but it can be complex. Third is the quadratic formula, but it's not easy to remember, and it's not intuitive. So Dr. Po-Shen Lo, who's a professor of mathematics at Carnegie Mellon University, made a new way to solve quadratic equations. We found it very intuitive and easy, and this also works for any quadratic equation.
So here's the background. The quadratic equation can be expressed as a product of two factors. X minus n times x minus p is equal to 0, where p and n are the two factors. Solving this and simplifying, you get x squared minus, in parentheses, n plus p times x plus np is equal to 0, where n plus p is the sum of the two factors and np is the product of the two factors. The midpoint is n plus p divided by 2, which is the negative half of the sum of the two factors.
So comparing factor form and standard form, when standard form is divided by a. So negative b divided by a is the sum of the two factors, and c divided by a is the product of the two factors. So the midpoint is negative b divided by 2a, and the product of the factors would be c divided by a. And here's the midpoint, negative b divided by 2a, and the distance between the two x-intercepts are the same distance, so we can use the variable d to represent it. And so this point would be m minus d, and this point would be m plus d when m is the midpoint. And then if you multiply both of those, it gets c divided by a because that's the product of those two factors.
So let's solve a problem. So let's solve x squared minus 8x plus 12 is equal to 0. From this problem, we know that a is 1, b is negative 8, and c is 12. The first step is to find the midpoint of the factors, negative b by 2a. So we know that b is negative 8 and a is 1, so we find the midpoint is 4. Step 2 is to find two factors in the terms of distance d from the midpoints. The two factors are 4 minus d and 4 plus d. Step 3 is to find the product of the factors, c divided by a, which is 12 divided by 1, which is equal to 12. Step 4 is to solve. You multiply 4 plus d and 4 minus d, which is 12, and also x plus d times x minus d is equal to x squared minus d squared. And after you simplify all the way, the solutions you get are 6 and 2.
Here's some more examples. So let's start with the equation x squared plus 6x minus 10 is equal to 0. So the midpoint would be negative b over 2a, which is negative 6 divided by 2, and that's negative 3, so that would be the midpoint. And then the space between each of them is d, so you do minus 3 minus d and minus 3 plus d, which are both the factors. And when you multiply them, you get c divided by a, which is negative 10 divided by 1, which is still negative 10. And once you simplify it, you get this. So then the second equation is 2x squared minus 8x minus 5 is equal to 0, and the midpoint is 2. And the distance is d, and then 2 points are 2 minus d and 2 plus d, and those two are the factors. And when you multiply them, you get c divided by a, which is negative 5 divided by 2, and when you simplify it, you get this.
So here's solving the quadratic equation. The quadratic equation in standard form simplified is x squared plus b divided by a times x plus c divided by a is equal to 0. The midpoint is negative b by 2a, and the product is c divided by a. After solving it, you get the quadratic equation. X is equal to minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Thank you.